In the last video, we started looking at the short answer problem at the bottom of page 593. And so now we're going to take a look at part 3 of that, which is going to actually use the fundamental theorem of calculus that we've been learning in this unit. All right, so down here, once again, we've got this graph of g of t, and f of x is defined as the definite integral from -4 to 2x of g of t dt. And this time, we want to find the value of the derivative of f evaluated at 1. Okay, so this is a different problem from the one before. So f of 0 was just calculating an area. But the derivative, we're kind of calculating the derivative of an integral. And when you're putting those two things together, you should automatically, your head should be turning towards the fundamental theorem of calculus. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to calculate not f prime of 1, but I want to calculate f prime for any value of x, because that's going to be a little bit more in line with what the fundamental theorem of calculus says. So pause the video for a moment and then use this definition to tell me what the derivative of f is. All right, so remember, this is not x, but it's a function of x. So we need two things. First of all, we want g evaluated at 2x. And then I want to multiply that by the derivative of 2x, which is 2. All right, so let me put a star right here because that's important. All right, so now I've calculated f prime of x, which is interesting, but they actually asked me for f prime of 1. So what do I do to calculate that? Well, I'm just going to take this rule. Function is a rule, and I want to plug in 1 in place of x. So that's 2 times g of 2 times 1, which is 2. What is 2 times g of 2? Well, this is the function of g right here. So g of 2 is 1. So that's 2 times 1, which is equal to 2. All right. Let's take a look at problem number 4. That's going to be a very similar thing. Now we're calculating f prime of -2. Once again, just like this was a much simpler problem once we had solved this, is this a much simpler problem now that we've solved this? Yeah, because I've got this starred expression right here. So really, f prime of -2 is just 2 times 2 times g of 2 times -2, which is -4. And g of -4 is -1. So that's 2 times -1, which is equal to -2. All right, so those functions, once again, the fundamental theorem of calculus is pretty interesting because it takes a problem which looks really complicated, but the fundamental theorem of calculus just says that if you're doing differentiation and integration back to back, they're kind of going to cancel each other out to a certain very real extent. So that has a way of making difficult problems really pretty obvious. In the next video, I'm going to take a look at the last problem, which is a little bit different and kind of tests your overall comprehension of things that we've been talking about in geometry up to this, or calculus up to this point. So that'll be fun. Let's look forward to that.